Now, from Nebraska's trusted news source, this is Channel 8 News at 5.
Coming up tonight, a shooting in Grand Island leaves one person dead.
Also, a new permit is now required for buying and selling catalytic converters. But first,
I decided it was time to use my voice.
Some disturbing news concerning the Catholic Church and child abuse. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. A 3-year investigation looking back all the way to the 1930s is complete.
Attorney General Doug Peterson laid out the findings in the clergy sexual abuse report. And Channel 8's Ariana Martinez joins us now with how many victims came forward during this investigation and what many are hoping will change. Ariana?
Yes, one of the primary purposes of this investigation was to determine whether any perpetrators of sexual abuse could still be charged for their crimes. The investigation found there were no allegations of clergy sexual abuse which were still able to be prosecuted due to the statute of limitations. Even though investigators were not necessarily shocked with what they found, hearing these stories and not being able to bring justice for those victims has not been easy. 158 victims from Nebraska came forward. 97 of the 158 were victims in the Lincoln Diocese.
In some ways, this is a feeble attempt to have their voices be heard. But it's so frustrating that, yes, your voice can be heard, but we're not able to bring you criminal resolution.
There were at least 2 victims in attendance. We talked to Stacy, who didn't want to give her last name, and understandably so, didn't want to go into detail about her abuse. They did say, though, hearing these results brought everything from sorrow to frustration.
When this investigation started, I decided it was time to use my voice and to help others, too.
In the Lincoln Diocese, there were 14 different church leaders in the report. 6 of them have since died, 3 had their faculties revoked, 3 were laicized, which means they were stripped of their duties, 1 retired, 1 spent time in a military prison, and 3 have unknown whereabouts.
My voice wasn't heard at all back when it happened. So it's time.
Within the state of Nebraska, we have to establish a culture that children are more important than any institution, whether church, whether school, whether any organization that holds themselves out to care for children.
Victims were able to call a hotline established 3 years ago. For some, it was the first time they ever reported it to anyone. The first reported case was in the 1930s.
A lot of times it's such a painful psychological scar, and I actually encourage anyone who might be listening who's dealt with it, has not come out and spoken with someone, that you need to do that.
The investigation may be closed, but the Attorney General said it's not over. If you have experienced child abuse, the Nebraska Child Abuse Hotline is 1-800-652-1999.
You've got support. You've got a lot of support. There's a lot of us out here, and just know that you're not alone.
One state senator is working on getting rid of the statute of limitations for victims of child sexual abuse before 2004. After the news conference, each bishop from the Nebraska's 3 dioceses in Lincoln, Omaha, and Grand Island released a joint statement saying in part, "It is clear that the hurt is still felt, even if the abuse was perpetrated many years ago. We apologize to the victims and their families for the pain, betrayal, and suffering that never should have been experienced in the church," end quote.
all right, thank you so much, Ariana. You can find the full statement that she just read on our website at klkntv.com. In Grand Island now, an early morning shooting.
Yes, it leaves one man dead.
An autopsy will be conducted at Douglas County Coroners. We'll get a better idea of how many times he was shot, the difference between entry and exit wounds, you know. Hopefully we'll be able to maybe tell a little more about a caliber of a weapon that was used, those type of things there.
Police say it happened near West Stoley Park Road and Lamar Avenue. When officers arrived, they found 28-year-old Teslok Kekiel inside a home with gunshot wounds. He later died at the hospital. Police say there are no suspects at this time and that the public is not in any danger. Lincoln police are trying to cut down on the number of catalytic converter thefts.
That's right. If you want to sell or buy a catalytic converter, you're going to need a permit. Right now, thieves can rip them off your vehicle and sell them pretty quickly to places like salvage yards. Well, now, if you want to buy or sell one here in Lancaster County, you're going to need to apply for a special $5 permit. Police say while they can't prevent thieves from going out of town to make the sale, it does make them a bigger target.
It exposes them longer in the sense that if you have to possess, I may not go to Grand Island until next week. And that means you have to possess that much longer. It gives us an opportunity to potentially identify and make an arrest or intervention in those types of crimes.
Now, the new ordinance has not been in effect for very long, in fact, not long enough to show if it's making any difference. But with 800 catalytic converter thefts so far this year, there's certainly room for improvement, according to police. The $5 permit, by the way, is good for a year. A car crash can take just seconds, but the aftermath, it can last hours.
Channel 8's Nathan Grieve tells us how the Nebraska State Patrol is trying to change that.
When I started 20-some years ago was literally a tape measure and a piece of paper.
But those days are gone. Now it's drones, scanners, and GPS.
We're really running crash scenes and gathering data with one person. I can take the total station by myself and grab all the data that I need, while it frees up another individual to grab photographs or to fly the UAVs.
That data is used to reconstruct the crash for NSP's investigation, and if something goes before a judge and jury, it's entered as evidence. The speed, though, that's a big deal.
The faster and safer we can document and clear those crash scenes, the better it is for everybody, for the officers, deputies, troopers standing on the road, to the motoring public who's having to slam on their brakes because traffic's bottlenecking in a crash.
And this is a lot of tech to handle, which is why this week troopers from all across the state are learning about everything.
The technology that they have makes it a lot easier than going out with a tape measure and pencil and paper like they were saying, and going out and measuring it. It's awesome. Yeah, I've never experienced anything like what these machines can do.
And one thing that they do, make the aftermath of crashes safer for everybody. Reporting in Grand Island, Nathan Grieve, Channel 8 News.
All right, let's talk about your weather now. Seems like we're heading in the right direction, and John told us we would be, right?
That's right. Lots of sunshine around. Temperatures warmer than this time yesterday by far. We finally cracked the 50-degree mark for the first time this month, and the first time in 5 days, at least in the capital city. Very nice afternoon with a temperature of 59 degrees for a high this afternoon. Lots of sunshine right now as we take a live look from Allo Communications, looking back to the southwest. They're along South 21st and L Street in Lincoln. You can see compared to yesterday, we're warming up forward to as much as 10 to make that 14 degrees warmer out towards Kearney. So right now it's 57 degrees in Lincoln. We're mid-50s in Beatrice towards Hebron. It's upper 50s right now in Kearney. A little cooler towards Grand Island and Hastings, and cooler yet from Central City, York, and Aurora. We had a few more clouds out that direction. Some early morning fog that slowly lifted and really kind of helped temperatures down out that direction. Satellite imagery though right now showing mainly clear skies overhead. We're not expecting much in the way of cloud cover initially this evening. Although I think once we get past about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, we'll start to see some low clouds moving back into the area. 55 degrees by 6 o'clock, 49 by 8, and 47 degrees by 10 o'clock tonight. It will be cool tonight, not terribly cold by any means, but we've got even warmer temperatures coming as early as tomorrow afternoon. We'll take a look at that and your weekend forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you so much, John. Now to some relief for Americans on the road this holiday season.
Gas prices are appearing to stabilize. ABC's Gio Benitez reports.
We've been reporting on rising gas prices for weeks, but now signs that they may be stabilizing just a bit. Take a look at the national average right now, $3.41 a gallon. That's still a bit high, but here's the good news. The price only went up by 2 cents since last week, and that is the smallest weekly increase in a month. Now, experts over at AAA saying this morning there's a little dip in domestic demand for gas right now, and that steady increase in crude oil prices may actually be taking a breather. Now, if that trend continues, we could be seeing some smaller price hikes, and Gas Buddy tells us that we could be seeing even some small declines. So we'll take the wins where we can get them. Gio Benitez, ABC News, New York.
Still to come on the news tonight, the very latest on the Ahmed Arbury murder trial.
That and your full forecast right after the break. Stay with us. The latest now on the murder trial, the 3 men accused of killing Ahmed Arbury.
Arbury, an unarmed black man, was shot while he was jogging near his Georgia home early last year. Here's ABC's Morgan Norwood.
In a trial dubbed as a major test for racial justice in the Deep South, a mostly white jury will decide the fate of 3 white men accused of killing Ahmed Arbury. Of the 12 jurors and 4 alternates selected, only one of them is African American, in a community where nearly 1 of every 3 residents is black.
I wasn't surprised. That's just some of what we've already been facing in this case, just another part of the injustices that we see here in Glenn County.
For weeks, the lawyers in the case sifted through hundreds of potential jurors, many dismissed because they were friends and co-workers of the accused. Travis McMichael, his father Gregory McMichael, and a neighbor, William Roddy Bryan Jr., are in trial for murder, aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and criminal attempt to commit false imprisonment. They each have pled not guilty. Race is a central issue in this case, with prosecutors arguing that Arbury would have never been stopped by the 3 white men with guns if he too were white. The judge declining to intervene on the makeup of the jury based on Georgia law, though he noted it appeared there was intentional discrimination on the panel.
Quite a few African-American jurors were excused through preemptory strikes exercised by the defense. But that doesn't mean that the court has the authority to reseat.
This video seen around the world showing the moments leading up to Ahmed Arbery's death, considered the star witness in this trial. The McMichaels claim they were exercising their right to make a citizen's arrest under a state law that was repealed following Arbury's death. According to his attorney, Travis McMichael claims he shot Arbury in self-defense, while Brian's lawyer says he was just a witness to the incident. The jury left to determine the truth, Arbury's mother looking for justice.
Everything that I prayed for, God has given it to me. And I know I've prayed and asked for justice for my son.
Opening statements are expected to get underway tomorrow morning. This trial could last several weeks. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Brunswick, Georgia.
Now, your Storm Alert Team forecast with Chief Meteorologist John Dissauer.
If you did not know, today is Nebraska's Winter Weather Advisory Day, or Winter Weather Awareness Day, I should say. I was going to talk about winter weather advisories. At first, go over a couple things that you probably haven't been thinking about for several months, and that we probably have coming our way over the next several months. Is some of the products that come out from the National Weather Service that we pass along to you to let you know about storms that are coming our way. First, we've got the Winter Weather Advisory. That's the time when you need to take action. It means winter weather is imminent, not terribly severe, but enough that could impact your day. We're talking less than 3 to 5 inches of snow. And I'm going to step out of the way here so you can see this is the time when you need to put your weather plan into action. Also, you want to make sure you stay up with the latest forecast from us, and then use caution while traveling. Also, the other one you'll oftentimes hear about is a winter storm warning. That's another time to take action. That's when a significant winter storm is imminent. That's usually issued a few hours before the storm begins. Another time to put the weather plan into action. Make sure you monitor the forecast and probably avoid travel if you can. That's oftentimes when we're talking about a storm that could produce 6 inches or more of snow in a 12-hour period, or 8 inches or more in a 24-hour period. Also could be the potential for some wind mixed in with some slightly lower snowfall amounts, but just where it's just not a good day to be out traveling around. Temperatures right now, not too bad outside. It's 57 degrees in Lincoln. It is 55 degrees in Beatrice. Lots of sunshine outside today, making it definitely feel warmer. Not to mention, yesterday we were only sitting in the upper 40s. This is the first time this month we've actually cracked the 50-degree mark in the capital city. Now this morning we had some fog around. We also had some low, stubborn clouds. They just weren't moving a whole lot. You could see out towards York and areas to the south, and also up towards Columbus is where those remained. And that held temperatures down just a little bit out that direction, where temperatures have struggled to reach the low 50s. But we've got clear skies right now. I think after about 1 o'clock or so in the morning, we'll start to have some low clouds moving back in, generally right around 1,000 feet above the ground. And it's not out of the question we could have some patchy fog tomorrow morning as well, although everything seems to indicate it's mainly just some low clouds. And that's going to keep our temperatures from dropping too much tonight. Lows will drop into the upper 30s to lower 40s. I think Lincoln could drop to 39 degrees or so by around midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and then we may start to see our temperatures tick up just a little bit, because we'll have clouds moving back into the area. Now we'll keep some clouds early on, but they should burn off. I think actually by late morning we should see sunny skies. I think Stormcast is a little slow in eroding the sunshine, but here's the good news. Temperatures will be back up into the 60s, going above normal. Our normal high temperature for today is 57 degrees. We should easily surpass that tomorrow. Forecasting a high of 64 in Lincoln, 64 in Hastings, 66 degrees in Kearney. Now, the one thing you'll notice tomorrow will be the winds. They'll be out of the south-southwest, sustained 10 to 18 miles per hour, and we could have gusts, especially during the afternoon, upwards of 30 miles per hour. Tomorrow evening, for the game of the week, it's Kearney Catholic versus Wahoo. We'll see clear skies. Temperatures not too bad for an early November game. 57 degrees at 7, 53 at 8, and 50 degrees by 9 o'clock. And right now the weekend's looking fantastic, with highs running upwards of 15 degrees above normal, a high of 70 in Lincoln. So right now the way the Husker football game looks, we'll see temperatures into the 60s to near 70 degrees by 3 o'clock. 7-day forecast then shows 70 Saturday, 72 degrees on Sunday. A couple of weather systems we're going to watch for next week. The models aren't consistent when it's bringing the rain in, and some of this could even bring a little wintry mix to the area once we get on the back side of that system, with temperatures into the 30s by Friday. Definitely, though, some cooler temperatures coming in for next week, so enjoy this weekend while you can.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm excited to rake some leaves together so Rourke can play in them and get some sunshine soaked up. It'll be great.
Make sure you get some pictures for social media.
Oh, I will. I will.
People love watching her grow up. So.
It's too fast, but all right. Thank you very much, John. Now to your holiday shopping. Experts believe the trucker shortage in the U.S. will continue to raise prices and worsen the supply chain slowdown.
As Camilla Barnell explains, despite efforts by the White House to fix the problem, many in the industry do not see a quick solution.
Being a truck driver will be Ray Stewart's second career. I am a barber, licensed barber.
The pandemic, the need for truck drivers, and a possible higher income motivated him to enroll in a truck driving academy.
We've definitely seen a major increase.
But despite the increase in future truck drivers, experts say it's just not enough to deliver your food, clothes, and especially now, your holiday gifts. According to the American Trucking Association, the industry is about 80,000 drivers short. Trucking company owner Will Cibrian sees it firsthand.
I'm advertising every day. Weeks go by and I don't get a call.
Truck drivers move 71% of the U.S. economy's goods, and the shortage is already impacting many other industries.
If trucking companies stop, America stops. Everything that we consume, the vast majority of things, whether it be cars, clothes, food, even food products, a lot of stuff comes from overseas.
While President Joe Biden directed the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach to move to 24/7 operations, Cibrian believes it will not be enough.
It doesn't matter how long they're open because there's other issues that are preventing us from picking up driver shortages and equipment shortages.
Creating a snowball effect.
If you're going to do your holiday shopping, do it now because things are going to run out. It's going to be scarce.
Meanwhile, Stewart hopes to be behind the wheel by the end of the year. But he and others expect the shortage to remain for years to come, with the real possibility of disappointment this holiday season.
Hopefully I can be on the road and actually making the money.
In Los Angeles, I'm Camila Bernal.
A split day on Wall Street today, the Dow falling 33 points, but the Nasdaq up about 29. Here are your numbers. You're watching Channel 8, Nebraska's trusted news source. Finally tonight, an amazingly heroic act is caught on camera in an icy Indiana river.
And that's just one of the many heroic stories. And tonight's Take a Look at This.
A group of Indiana police officers are being called heroes after wading into an icy river to rescue a driver trapped in a sinking car. Responding to the frantic 911 call, the officers sprang into action, but the submerged vehicle's doors wouldn't open.
I'm thinking like, we're going to lose somebody if we don't do something quick.
Using a baton, the officers broke the vehicle's windows and were able to reach the driver, pulling her to safety.
You talk to any police officer, he would jump in the water to save somebody.
A California dog is recovering after chasing and fighting off a large mountain lion that came precariously close to its owners. The confrontation was caught on surveillance camera, and the dog suffered multiple injuries but is expected to be okay and is now sporting battle scars from his fearless encounter.
Nice haircut, dude.
Sometimes all it takes to be a hero is being generous in spirit, even if no one is watching. Such was the case for 3 trick-or-treaters in Rhode Island who happened upon an empty candy bowl at a home on Halloween night.
We all looked down at the exact same time.
With only a security camera watching, the trio took it upon themselves to replenish the bowl with their own candy.
It's just like this instinct that we had just to kind of like, you know what, let's just make someone's day if we can.
It was no trick, but a very sweet treat paid forward to other kids who would follow in their footsteps. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
I think they have bright futures, don't you?
I agree.
As bright as the sky today. Hey, clear skies outside this evening, 49 by 8, 47 degrees by 10 o'clock.
All right, thanks, John, and thank you all for joining us.
See you back here at 6. World News is next.
With the Channel 8 Eyewitness News mobile app, you'll be the first to know. Get alerts about breaking news and weather, all in the palm of your hand.
Get a load of the DQ Loaded A1 Steakhouse burger, stacked with thick-cut bacon, crunchy onion rings, and 2 premium steak sauces. This is one burger that needs 2 hands.